Hey, what's up, YouTube world? This is your boy Jack Madrox here with a review for Smackdown Live of April 11th, 2017, with the Superstar Shakeup results. Now, we saw last night who jumped from SmackDown Live to Raw, and now we know, and I'm going to tell you who jumped from Raw to SmackDown Live. In order, actually, as it came. First was Kevin Owens, the United States Champion. And one noticeable thing about him is that his pube hair beard is now gone. He trimmed it down quite a bit. And, you know, all I can say is finally that thing was looking horrid as hell. Looks like, you know, someone just super glued a bunch of pube hairs to his face. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. It was the most disgusting thing ever. Alright, anyways. But I wanted to talk about that too, right from the get-go, you know, Kevin Owens being on SmackDown Live. So that completely undoes my whole theory, or my prediction, I should say, about Kevin Owens staying on Raw with the U.S. title, and Chris Jericho debuting on SmackDown Live, and then going to Payback, beating Kevin Owens, and bringing the U.S. title to SmackDown Live. It turns out that that's not going to happen. However, what is going to happen, apparently, from what I understood, is that so the match is still on between Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho for the U.S. title at Payback. And whoever, it's a little weird. I could not understand it fully, but apparently whoever wins the match is going to be the newest addition to the SmackDown Live roster. So, but Kevin Owens is already on SmackDown Live. Okay, so, and obviously Chris Jericho is still on Raw. So, if Chris Jericho ends up winning at Payback, does that mean that he comes to SmackDown Live and Kevin Owens also stays on SmackDown Live if he loses? Or if Kevin Owens loses, does he go back to Raw? I don't know. I think they need to clarify that a little bit, because that's a little confusing. Anyways, next, Sami Zayn. Yeah, I've always been a fan of Sami Zayn, you know. I've always liked Sami Zayn. The Shining Stars. Who gives a shit, you know. They're boring as hell. Jinder Mahal. The roided up version. And apparently, last night with his match with Finn Balor, apparently he gave Finn Balor a concussion, apparently. And I'm just sitting here like this, like, are you serious? Really? Finn Balor's injured again? I mean, the guy can't be injury prone, right? I mean, or is it just because Jinder Mahal's roided up ass fucking smacked him with his elbow, like for real, you know, like super hard or whatever? I don't know. But whatever. A special comeback tonight. Tamina Snuka is officially on the SmackDown Live women's roster. But as they were announcing her, WWE kind of trolled us a little bit, you know. It wasn't a full troll, but it was a troll nonetheless. So they was talking like, oh, well, her dad is a WWE Hall of Famer, and she's a second-generation superstar, and everyone's like thinking, yeah, that's Charlotte. But then Tamina Snuka, her dad is also in the Hall of Fame, and she's also a second-generation superstar. So Tamina comes out, and it's a surprise. But then Shane comes back in the ring, and he's like, oh, you thought I was talking about somebody else. Oh, well, I was. And then he announced Charlotte. So Charlotte Flair is now on the Smackdown Live women's roster. The crowd was chanting for Sasha Banks, which I think personally would have been a better choice. I believe that Charlotte probably should have stayed on Raw. I think that Sasha Banks, to me, is kind of like, how Dean Ambrose is with SmackDown Live. It just, you kind of put the two together. You put Dean Ambrose next to SmackDown Live, it seems to fit. You put Sasha Banks next to SmackDown Live, I think it would fit really well, but they didn't do that, So, whatever. Personally, I think Dean Ambrose should still be on SmackDown Live. And I think Charlotte should still be on Raw. I think it was Sasha Banks who should have come to SmackDown Live. But whatever, Whatever. It is what it is, Alright. Sin Cara, not really a big deal. He's officially now on the SmackDown Live roster. Apparently Rusev is now on SmackDown Live. And coming soon, apparently, Lana is coming to the SmackDown Live women's roster. And I guess she's actually going to be a wrestler now. She's not just going to be, arm candy for Rusev, And the biggest announcement, well, there was a few big announcements, but new tag team coming to SmackDown Live is The New Day. So, they weren't there tonight because I think it's because of Kofi Kingston's injury. But nonetheless, The New Day is coming to SmackDown Live, so that's good, After losing Heath Slater and Rhino to Raw, the tag division on SmackDown seriously needed a new tag team, and it needed one with prestige. And right now, in all of WWE, I do not think that there is a tag team with more prestige right now than the New Day. They're pretty much still somewhat fresh coming off their longest reigning tag champs ever thing, So, I just, I was going to say that I just hope they do more wrestling than they do their shenanigans, but to be kind of honest, I kind of enjoy their shenanigans, but it can get tiresome after a while, And, SmackDown Live tonight as a show, I have to admit that Raw was better last night than tonight's SmackDown Live. Raw seemed to really come with, a lot of intensity, and SmackDown Live tonight just kind of felt dull, except for the whole segment with Dolph Ziggler and Nakamura. That was pretty cool, and I haven't seen much of Nakamura, but from the little that I have seen from him, I kind of like his quirkiness. He's got kind of a quirky thing going on there, almost kind of like a smart-ass thing. And yeah, I like him. I want to see what he's got. And the main event wasn't a bad match. I thought it was pretty good, but I wanted to add this little note about Baron Corbin. I really wanted to say this. I like Baron Corbin. I do. But there's a few things about him that need tweaking, This whole yelling at the ref thing that he always does. Now that's cool. I mean, yell at the ref if you want, whatever. Yell at the ref. But it's just kind of the way he goes about it, He's like, that was 3! Or he's yelling at the ref, I do what I want. You know, he sounds like an entitled teenage emo kid. You know, he really does. It's like, I hate my mom and dad and all that shit, you know. It's exactly what he sounds like. It's like, he needs to sound a little, I mean, if he's going to rage out in the ring at the ref, then he needs to sound a little bit more mature, you know. I don't know how he'd do that, but that's what it comes off to me like. It comes off to me as like an entitled, spoiled little emo kid who gets whatever he wants and he's yelling, I do what I want! You know, you know. Like I said, I like Baron Corbin, but there's a few things about him that need tweaking. Anyways, that's going to do it for this episode of Yak Yak with Jack. Stay spooky, everybody. I'm out.